In this episode, we discuss the ongoing farmers' protests and the upcoming meeting between farm leaders and the government. We also bring you the latest updates on the Arjikar case and share what West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has said about the matter. But first, we talk about a small railway overbridge in Ahmedabad. Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargava and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. This story in many ways highlights the absurdity of bureaucracy and the extent of mismanagement within the government. At its core is a specific railway overbridge in Ahmedabad, whose construction began 6 years ago. And although the bridge has been built, it remains completely unusable. Why? Well, because there's no road at the end of it.
So this railway overbridge is located in the Sealdah area of Ahmedabad.
That's the Indian Express's Brendan Dabhi, who covers the region for the paper.
It was added to the jurisdiction of the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation basically in 2020 when several major municipal corporations were enlarged. So this is basically the urban agglomeration of Ahmedabad.
Right, and Brendan, can you tell us why this bridge was constructed in the first place and how it was supposed to help people in the area?
So there's a manned level crossing 16A. That's about 200 meters from where this ROB currently has been constructed. This ROB was supposed to go over the Goraguma railway yard and eliminate the manned crossing, which is something that the railways wants to do across the country.
Yeah, and tell us, what is the reason that this bridge, which has been under construction for the past 6 years, remains unusable, and where are things stuck at the moment?
So the problem isn't with the bridge itself, but with the allied infrastructure that's supposed to be built with it. This ROB was built, right? But there's a road only on one side of it. The other side of the ROB hits a wall, and there's only a dirt track at the end of it. So even though the ROB has been completed by the railways, it is unusable right now for the traffic. So the whole purpose of closing down manned level crossing, that is not going to be fulfilled unless a road is built on the other side of the ROB.
You know, one would assume that you would only build an overbridge once there is a road across it, right?
Very true. There are supposed to be roads on both sides of an overbridge. That's how bridges work. But in this case, that doesn't seem to have happened. And it doesn't seem to have happened over a period of 6 years. Since the railway board approved this ROB in January 2018, now it's January 2025. And the local civic body is only now beginning to, demarcate lines and try to plan on building a road.
And so talk about the challenges that the authorities have faced in building that road, because clearly they have not been able to do so in the past 6 years.
Yeah, so there have been problems with this area since the very beginning. Initially, this was supposed to be a railway underbridge, but there wasn't enough space to build a railway underbridge. So they decided to build an overbridge. However, there is still no place to build an overbridge over the manned level crossing. So they asked the Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority to find them another place. So the order gave them this place where the ROB is currently built. However, there was no road on the other side of it, so they knew it. And there was communication between the railways and the Dedicated Freight Corporation of India on building the road. However, it was still not built. And because of that, neither does the manned level crossing get cut, nor are people able to use it.
And could you also talk about just how much money has been spent in the construction of this overbridge?
Right. So according to the tender documents, the base value of the bridge was supposed to be 67 crores. So at least that much amount has been spent building it, if not more.
And so tell us, where are things stuck at the moment? When will people actually be able to use this bridge?
Yes. So that's where our story goes forward. When infrastructure is there, but infrastructure cannot be used, infrastructure gets old. So what is the point of leaving infrastructure built there and funds used uselessly? So what they are going to do now is that there is a Sealdah end of the bridge, right, where there is no road. Basically, it's just a dirt track that goes on for about 2 kilometers and then meets the Sealdah main road. Now, this 2 kilometer patch is not an urban area. It's an agricultural zone. So technically what should have happened when the ROB was planned, this area should have been converted from an agricultural zone into a town planning scheme. And then a road should have been planned there in these 2 kilometers between the bridge and Sealdah main road. However, this did not happen. But now, after an outcry that, the government has wasted crores of rupees building this ROB without a road, now they are doing something about it. But what they have planned now is the partial acquisition of properties on both sides of this dirt track where they will now build a road.
And these are private properties?
Correct. Yes, there are private properties on both sides of this dirt track and it goes on for 2 kilometers. So the government will have to partially acquire all these areas to build a road for 2 kilometers. And there are complications in that as well. This entire agricultural zone of 2 kilometers where the road needs to be built falls half into the Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority and half of it falls into the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. So both the civic bodies have to now cooperate to build half the road.
You know, in some ways, this story keeps getting absurd. When you spoke to authorities, what did they have to say about all this? About building a bridge without a road at the end of it? What are the kind of things they told you?
Yeah, so the Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority, they told us that it must have been future planning. Because obviously the Sealdah area, it's still a developing area. So their logic is that since the railways wanted to build an overbridge and was ready to fund half of it, it was the order's plan actually to turn it from a 2-lane overbridge to a 4-lane overbridge in the interest of future planning. However, the future planning apparently did not include the road.
And Brendan, for the story, you were also able to access multiple documents, including letters that were sent by the railways. Can you tell us what they revealed?
Yeah, one very new thing that our investigation uncovered was that the railways sent order 5 reminders over a period of 1.5 years. The construction of the bridge began in 2021 and it was completed by the end of 2024. So between September 2023 and December 2024, the railways sent the order 5 reminders, and we have seen these reminders, we have accessed these reminders, asking the order to build the road. And in spite of these constant reminders, nothing was done. And work is only now beginning. The survey work is only now beginning so that they can find a space to get the road and then demarcate the properties and then make the acquisition needed to actually build the road. So this is what we uncovered, that several reminders from the railways also had no impact on this incomplete project.
And as someone who has been reporting on civic matters, is there anything that particularly stands out to you about this story?
Yeah, what's interesting is that, this is a matter not of development itself, but of ease of travel, right? Now, this is what happens when there is complication between 2 local bodies, right? Half of this area falls in the AMC and half of this area falls in order. So I think that may be part of the problem here. However, one does not blame the other, right? So we cannot say for the ROB itself is very important here because it would not only eliminate one manned crossing, but it would also help divert traffic from another manned level crossing that is about 1 kilometer away. So this ROB sits in between 2 level crossings. It would have greatly helped if this ROB was on. But however, this is going to be a problem just now. And if they decide to close the manned level crossing 16A before the road is built, there are some residential areas which will face problems now. Because on the Sealdah side of the ROB, there is one residential area and a road is being built there. So if people start using that road, then they are going to face problems because that is not supposed to be a main road. So there are multiple facets here to consider.
And next we talk about the farmers' protests that have now been going on for the past 11 months. Hundreds of farmers who have been protesting on the borders of Punjab and Haryana, among other things, have been demanding a legal guarantee on MSP. In fact, on the 26th of November, farm leader Jagjit Singh Dallewal, who has also been battling cancer, had started an indefinite fast to put further pressure on the government. But on Saturday, he finally agreed to take medical aid from the centre, which also led 121 other farmers to end their hunger strike. And in another relief for the centre, the Samyukt Kisan Morcha, which was at the forefront of the farmers' agitation in 2020, cancelled its plans to hold protests outside the offices and residences of BJP MPs. To discuss the reasons why this has happened now, we are joined by the Indian Express's Raakhi Jagga.
Yeah, actually, Jagjit Dallewal, he started his hunger strike on November 26th. So Saturday was the day 54 of his hunger strike and he wasn't keeping well. And in addition to this, on January 15, when it was the day 50 of his hunger strike, 111 more farmers, most of them senior citizens, 70 plus, they had also started fast unto death. And on January 16, 10 more from Haryana. So total 121 farmers had also sat in a big pandal, and they said we will also continue with the hunger strike. And most of them, they had no experience of holding a hunger strike in the past, and a number of them were 80 plus as well. So BJP was no doubt, they were worried about Dallewal's health as well, but Dallewal had organized these hunger strikes in the past as well, so he had a previous experience. So BJP people were more worried about these 121 farmers. A number of them were 80 plus as well, and the BJP sources also told that if anything happens to any one of them, then it will be a bad time for them. And given the conditions that Delhi elections campaign is also going on, so perhaps that forced them to come running to Kanori border, and they had come with an invite of the meetings, which Kanori border farmers, they accepted as well.
Right, and Rakhi, when is this meeting supposed to take place?
The Joint Secretary, Union Minister of Agriculture, Priya Ranjan, he had come along with few other officials, and he gave them a letter which says that the meeting will be on February 14 at 5 p.m. at Sector 26, Chandigarh. So he gave a reason that Code of Conduct is in implementation in Delhi because of the elections till February 9. And after that, the union budget will be presented on 12 and 13 of the February. That's why they said we have given a date of February 14. I mean, they gave a reason that we can't make any announcements amid the poll campaign in Delhi. But a number of politicians in Punjab, they are saying that they should have started the talks earlier as well. So they have kept it, maybe 14 February is too far away.
And these protests have now been going on for about a year now. And we understand that the government doesn't really want to give that legal guarantee on MSP, because that would mean that the government would be bound by law to pay a certain amount for the crops it buys from the farmers. So considering that, what hope do these farmers have from this meeting?
They said that they also know that nothing is going to be decided on the day one of the meeting, but they said that as they have put a lot of pressure on the government and Dallewal, although he had started taking the medical help, I mean, he has started taking intravenous fluids, but he hasn't eaten food. He said, I'm still on hunger strike and I am only taking medical help. So they said that we have a hope that they will accept our demands, looking in the condition Dallewal's health, because he continues to be at risk. He is a cancer patient. He's a prostate cancer patient as well. And he is around 70 years old. So they said that government can't take a chance because Dallewal is still at a health risk. And the farmers, they are still sitting on the highways and the highways are blocked. So they have a hope that government will accept to their demands. And at the same time, the Samyukt Kisan Morcha people, they now are also in process of having a united struggle, although they are not a part of that dharnas, but they are continuously holding meetings with these two protesting farming forums. So government may have a pressure that now all of them are on one page. And I mean, there can be larger protests as well if they don't agree to their demands. So farmers say that looking into all these factors, they have hopes that government will certainly do something about their demands.
And Rakhi, with Dallewal agreeing to this meeting with the centre, what do other farm leaders and unions make of it?
Yeah, there are two forums, Kisan Mazdoor Morcha and Samyukt Kisan Morcha, non-political, which had started protests at Shambhu and Kanori borders since February 13th, 2024. So whatever happened, all the developments, whatever happened on Saturday, they happened at Kanori border, where largely Samyukt Kisan Morcha non-political leaders were sitting, although a few of the Kisan Mazdoor Morcha leaders were also there. But Sarwan Singh Pandher, he is a coordinator of Kisan Mazdoor Morcha, and he wasn't present there. And although he hasn't said anything on record, but the sources from Kisan Mazdoor Morcha, they have said that they were sort of shocked to see the series of developments which happened at the Kanori border on Saturday. And a number of them said that they were not even taken into confidence, that Dallewal will be taking medical help, and he will be agreeing to the February 14 invite. Though they also wanted that the government should resume talks, but I mean there is a sort of kind of a thing that everything was not discussed with the major leaders of both the forums. So that sort of a feeling is running between the two forums, or I mean we can say an uneasy calm is prevailing between the two forums as of now.
मैं सरवण सिंह पंदेर इस समय शंभू मोर्चे की स्टेज पर से बोल रहा हूं। सरकार की एजेंसियों का, कुछ ऑफिसरों का आंदोलन को जो आंदोलन में फूट डालने का अथवा इस तरह का चाराजोई हो रही है, इसको हम कभी भी कामयाब नहीं होने देंगे।
Also, Rakhi, how significant is this period for the farm leaders, especially with the Delhi elections coming up? Because BJP is in a very tight race with the Aam Aadmi Party. So talk about how do the farm leaders see this particular timing?
Yeah, the farm leaders, I mean the Dallewal group, the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha, non-political, they have to readily agreed that they will be accepting that meeting, given the fact that they are saying that Dallewal was keeping very bad health and he was vomiting and he was having dehydration, a lot of complications he had started developing. Perhaps this was also a major reason that they have readily accepted that letter, the invite. And the Khanori Morcha people, they are okay with this meeting time, but still a number of farmers, they are saying that meetings should have started this week only, and they are not going to announce anything. I mean, just like that. They said they could have made the announcements after the elections, and they should have resumed the talks earlier. So, I mean, the protesting farming forums, they are also having a different opinion, and a number of them, they are okay with it, while a few, they are saying that the timings that had the meetings started during the poll campaign, the things would have brought different results.
And in the end, we bring you updates about the Arjikar case. Yesterday, nearly 6 months after his arrest, the Sealdah court sentenced Sanjay Roy to life imprisonment for raping and murdering a trainee doctor at the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital in August last year. The court also imposed a fine of 50,000 rupees on Roy and directed the West Bengal government to pay 17 lakh rupees as compensation to the victim's family. Additional District and Sessions Judge Anirban Das, while explaining his decision not to impose the death penalty, stated that he did not consider it a rarest of rare case. Junior doctors at the hospital who had led the protests following the incident expressed dissatisfaction with the verdict. They raised concerns over unresolved questions and the lack of action against other potential suspects. The doctors also demanded a more thorough investigation into the case, including a deeper probe into the motive and the involvement of others. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also expressed dissatisfaction with the verdict, stating that she was not satisfied with the outcome.
Details to them, Janina. Details to the CBI court. এবং আমাদের হাত থেকে তো কেসটা ইচ্ছা করে কেড়ে নিয়ে চলে গেল। আমরা তো বলেছিলাম আমরা যদি করতে না পারি তাহলে আপনারা সিবিআইকে দিন, আমার কোনো আপত্তি নেই, কারণ আমরা চাই বিচার হোক। এই নরক বিচারদের চরমতম শাস্তি হওয়া উচিত। সিবিআই তদন্তে কি কোনো ত্রুটি রয়েছে আমি এসব বলতে পারবো না, কিন্তু আমি এখনো আপনিও লয়ার, আমিও অ্যাজ এ লয়ার আমি এই কথা বলছি যে আমি তো ডিটেলস কাগজপত্র দেখিনি, বাট আই এম নট স্যাটিসফাইড।
The case in question dates back to the 9th of August when a doctor's body was found at the Arjikar Medical College and Hospital, sparking an indefinite strike by doctors. In response to the public outcry, the West Bengal Assembly had passed the Aparajita Women and Child Bill 2024, proposing severe penalties including capital punishment for rape and sexual abuse cases. The bill, which was passed in September last year, is still awaiting presidential assent. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.